One camera, one mission. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, you beautiful lot. My name's Jason. This is my 80s podcast. You put the boom boom into my heart.
Background in your room, looking.
Oh yes,
was just class in a glass.
I've got one at the back, but I've had to hide it because it's got Rolf Harris on it. I thought maybe not a great thing to put on, to be fair. So it's in the back because he was, as much as he's what he is now. It's I hide it in the back. You can't see it. I did see another magazine with another certain entertainer, and I thought, I'm not buying that. That's not going on my back of my wall. Yes. But I remember that, like you were saying with that, because I used to get that with like. I joined five star fan club, and it was it's a stuffy. I used to collect anything. Honestly, I used to collect absolutely anything. A bit like now, absolutely everything.
I used to collect rubbers.
Did you?
Actual,
not them vile things with the blue on the end of it. They're supposed to have ripped.
No, not the ones you chew in school. No, but it's all gritty as well.
Oh, and it's supposed to have got rid of ink, and when you went like that, it just ripped the paper to shreds.
I know.
You just think, how is that supposed to be getting rid of ink? Right, so I've got another fact is an antique desk mentioned in one of the episodes was valued at 825 quid in 1980, which is equivalent to 3,432 quid now.
That's how much I paid for it, yeah.
That's how much you paid for it. Right, so I've done them for facts, but I wanted to talk to you because I know we talk because it's yours. I know that you're a massive fan of Madonna.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was going to ask you. So Madonna in the 80s, a bit like yourself, I was fascinated with her. And I always say to you, I always want to ask you, what was it about Madonna? And I think for women, it's probably a bit different to.
I think it was because she was so different and so confident.
Yeah.
And, I mean, her dress sense was completely unique, and the videos were the video in Venice.
Oh yes, is that
the
Like a Virgin one when she's bending her head?
Yeah, and dance moves. I mean, her concerts were
unique. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
one of my favorite videos was Madonna's Like a Virgin tour, and it's she had them two male dancers to her, and I was remembering. I mean, God knows why my mum didn't know I was gay. I knew them dance moves more than Madonna did. I watched that concert, and my sisters did as well. So even my younger sister, that's like 42 now, so probably wouldn't have even only just been born. Because I had that on VHS. You can get that from every good VHS records. You can go to Blockbusters now if you want to get one. But I got it digitally remastered onto and I watched that the other day, and I still remember even some of the words that she says. You know, like when they talk to the audience, and when I was like saying them in my head, I thought, Jay, this is 40 odd years ago, mate. You need to. Stop. But you're right. I think Madonna was unique, and I think that I think the first time I saw, even though I knew of her, that blew my mind was at Live Aid when she was. And I know she was a little bit of a diva because she kept coming on late, but she was brilliant. And I
think also she hit at the time MTV became live, so you had more.
See, it was more visual, wasn't it? Because it was like I mean, obviously I keep calling it it's the Buggles, ain't it? Radio killed the radio. So that was one of the first videos that they played on there, and I think that just opened up the whole of music for people to actually. And that's when people. I mean, I'm not saying people didn't start to do videos, but that's when people started to things like Duran Duran used to have them. I mean, Wild Boys was just.
Oh, that was amazing.
They put a lot of money in videos then, didn't they? But Madonna, I kept saying someone said, "Would you like?" Because I'd like to go and see her, but I'd want to go and see 80s Madonna. For me, I think you know what I mean? I just love, and you can't get 80s Madonna because she's like 66 now, so we can't go, as much as we'd like to go back. But yeah, I think you're right. I think for me, and women, girls, I mean, I used to blow my mind up when I was a kid, girls dressing up in all those like crosses, and
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't, everything was ripped.
Everything was ripped, and the gloves, the net gloves, and
she was just,
and
I
I
yeah.
could think that, yeah. I think we were all coming out of the stage of perm, so it was good to be able to
tie it back, get it off your face, get the
exactly.
lacquer off, have it.
Yeah,
I'd have been all
you
right.
didn't have high hair like we all did.
And I think she homed in, didn't she? And it's like, and I think she. I love the fact that she. I mean, when I watched some of her like old stuff and some like the documentary things that she did from the 80s, and I used to think she. I mean, she come from a humble. She was a dancer, wasn't she? She didn't really have anything, and I think, you know what I mean. And that's probably why I, and like most, like yourself and most people, absolutely idolised her. And she was just mind blowing for me in the 80s. Madonna was. She was just, and she had hit. And I always remember buying the first album and playing it that much that I had to get a new one because I'd scratched it that much. Do you know, you play an album, the Like a Virgin album, constant. Well, that wasn't the first one. I keep saying the first one. The first one was called Madonna, but they released that after, didn't they? Because she had like the Like a Virgin album, because she had the other one before that was just called Madonna. And I think I'm sure they re-released that after.
I think as well, all the videos had a story to them.
They did. Papa Don't Preach.
Yeah. And I think for me though, when she brought out that book, you know, the book, which I did not buy, because it was she was constantly changing. That was the other thing. She was constantly changing her image.
Yeah, because when you think in the 80s she was dressed like, and then when she went into the next decade, and then she changed into the next decade. To be honest, it's a bit like Miss Minogue, ain't she? I mean, Kylie's a bit like that now, isn't she? She's, when you think 80s, I mean, I loved 80s. When you see 80s Kylie, she was all very girly. And then when she got into when we come out of the 80s, we had Slut Bag Kylie, which was even better.
Yeah, it was.
No, I can't call Kylie a slut. Kylie would never be one of those. Kylie's up there with Madonna. Every gay man, you can't call Madonna and you can't call Kylie because we want to shoot you if you do.
Yeah, I think as well, at the time that Madonna was emerging, women were still very much in the background.
Yes, they were, because when you... Because they were. I mean, we had because we had Cyndi Lauper come out, didn't we, in the 80s as well? And I can remember when I went to watch her in concert a while ago, she was saying that they used to pin her and Madonna together because we were friends and we were literally nothing like each other. Our music was completely different, but they just, it's like anything else, isn't it? It's a bit like when Bros was out. I mean, they pinned them against, and like a bit like Duran Duran, they used to, and Wham, they used to like pit everyone towards it, saying that you either love Duran Duran or you love Wham, or you love Spandau Ballet. You know what I mean? And what we didn't realise is they were all mates as well, but we didn't know that. We just thought, I can remember being at school and people going, I can't be your fan, you like Wham, or you like Spandau Ballet, or God, we were mad. But it was, I have to be honest, it's like Madonna. 80s Madonna was absolute. 80s Madonna, 80s Cinder. It was just, and you were right. And I think for women, especially because a lot of it was, I mean, there were women singers. Coming from the 70s, we had like Deborah Harry.
Oh,
she's just an absolute icon for me, Deborah Harry is. Even now, but she came into the 80s, but she was in a group, wasn't she? So it was a bit, even though she was like the lead singer, she was another one that brought things. I mean, it's like a song Rapture that came in the 80s, was one of the first rapping.
Yeah.
I mean, I say rapping, blunder. I say rapping, Deborah, but it was rapping. But you're right. They and I think females just clung on to them, didn't they? People like Madonna and Cyndi. We need to go back to them decades.
I think the other thing is that I think 80s was the decade that we realised that some singers couldn't sing.
Absolutely, especially when they were, because I mean, growing up as a kid, it sounds really bizarre now. I thought they were singing live on Top of the Pops. If I'm honest, I didn't realise that they were miming. And I can remember, I'm sure I watched a video which there was, I think one of the first. Was it Whitney Houston was one of the first ones that sang live in the end of the 80s? I can't remember. I can't remember them right. I mean, I'm sure someone will tell me I'm wrong. But Whitney Houston wanted to sing live and they weren't going to let her. And eventually they did. And she was just, and then once she did it, that's when they thought she could sing the Notebook though, couldn't she, Wits?
There wasn't a band as well that rebelled. They had to lip sync.
Oh, God, there was.
They absolutely didn't. They went.
Yeah. Oh God! If anyone knows, let us know. Let us know in the comments and if anyone knows. Yeah, there were. I can remember that. I mean, the thing is, it was just for TV, wasn't it? So that's why they wanted all to mime, so that nothing was.
Was it Frankie?
I can't remember it was. Oh, I'm gonna have to have a look at that now. You know.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me because Holly Johnson would have just gone mad. He would have cared. But they were another good group, weren't they? Holly Johnson was just brilliant, and I mean their song "Relax" went to #1 because of the lyrics in it, and because it got soon because they don't do it now. But years ago in the 80s, they used to ban them, didn't they? It's like George Michael's "I Want Your Sex." As soon as you ban that, we all went out to go and get the video. I can remember buying the video for $3.99 on VHS at your local Blockbuster stores, ladies and gentlemen. and I remember going to buy that because they wouldn't let you watch the video, and everyone wanted to know what the video was about. That video went to #1 in the video charts because everybody went out and brought it.
I think that was also the era where reverse marketing came in. So they'd say they watch something.
And like anything, you tell us not to watch it, we all do the complete opposite, don't we?
Absolutely.
I still do that now. But, and that, like Frankie, when they said we're not playing that, everybody went out and bought it because they wanted to hear it. I always find that it's like now when you listen to it, and I know that we've gone on to different decades, and I always think it's not we hear worse now, don't we? But I suppose at a time in the 80s, because we'd just come out of the 70s, and the 70s wasn't that rude sort of decade, was it? It was a bit like the Nolan sisters, even though they did have some like 70s rockers in there, didn't they? Some.
Well, you had Saturday Night Fever where John Travolta put his hands down his pants in the unedited version.
Oh, do you know? And that was like you thought he'd run about with nothing. But then it's a bit like, do you know what makes me laugh? I watched recently the I don't know what film it's called. It's got Jane Fonda in it and John Travolta when they're doing exercises in an exercise class.
It's Saturday Night Fever.
Is that what it was?
I think,
because I'm not sure. I don't know. And he's like pelvic thrusting, and she's pelvic thrusting, and I just think I needed a cigarette after that.
No, even I did, and I was.
You know, you just think. I wasn't.
You find yourself like.
Yeah, you were like, and all I kept thinking, how did they? All I remember thinking, they banned "I Want Your Sex" by George Michael, which just shows two people in bed more than anything else, or under a covers. They banned Frankie Goes to Hollywood for lewd lyrics, and then you can sit and watch that on a film where he's practically. Is it a dance? Was it a dance?
It wouldn't be if I did it, put it that way.
I'm telling you now, I'm surprised that woman didn't get pregnant. That's how that was. Oh, that's been brilliant. Okay. Absolutely brilliant. So thanks ever so much for that, Lee.
Go on.
A
lot of the professionals, the early ones, was filmed around Watford, Benskin breweries. And it ruined it for me because there was one scene in the high street where they turn around and look at a high-rise block of flats.
You weren't waving, were you? Oh, no, they're not airing that?
No, the somewhere else.
I thought you were going to say there's a block of flats and there's me going like that in the background. I was literally going to buy the box set just so I could see you waving. I love them fun facts because it's like loads of. I didn't because you're not far from Watford, are you? So I didn't realise it was. Oh, did
I
you?
used to live in Watford, yeah. So
I'm surprised you didn't stalk them.
Oh, well, they were already filmed.
Oh,
before I
could you
got
imagine
into
if they'd put something on the news? We're filming in Watford. Every episode would have seen you in it.
Yeah, I'd be like,
Doyle, is it Boyle and Doyle? Is it Boyle and Doyle?
Bogey and Boyle.
Boyle and Doyle.
That's my dad.
Was it Bogey and Doyle?
Bogey and Boyle.
Bogey and Boyle. Where's Doyle from?
His name is Doyle.
Read your notes, Jake. Read your notes. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thanks ever so much for that, Lee. And I will speak to you soon. You take care. Speak to you later. Bye. How amazing was that? Absolutely brilliant. Do you know what? This is what happens when you work with 80 stars. How brilliant was that? That absolutely deserves an amazing cheer. So, if you want to be a guest on my 80s podcast, please let me know. Message me on all my social media and share, and have an amazing day. And in the words of that amazing icon, y'all come back now. You hear? It's Dolly Parton. I know. I'm good at you, beautiful lot.